Good morning. Welcome to your Friday Next Gen Planners Buzz Show. I cannot help but dance every single time. It just gets me. I don't know why I'm not expecting the music to come, but I'm like, oh yeah, here it goes. Hello, welcome. Hope you had a good week. Thank you for joining us. I'm Amelia Hamilton. I am one of your hosts of the Buzz Show. I am joined, of course, by my brilliant co-host. Well done. Look at that timing there, like straight in before I even said the word co-host, preempting it. Welcome, Tom. How are you doing?
I think I peaked a bit early, but it wasn't even me. So yeah, I'm here. I'm amazing. I'm in such a good mood today, and I don't know why. It's just like really positive. I think it's like last Friday before December, starting to feel festive. Obviously, all the posts in the community going on about when to put your tree up. I'm putting mine up this weekend. I feel just ready to go. To be honest, I've got loads of energy today. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's very good. I feel like I'm always more optimistic this far away from Christmas because I'm like, I've got so much time and there's so much we can do. And then when it gets closer and closer, you're like, wait, how many days left? I haven't done anything. I've got to do everything. Is there a garage shop open to buy some windscreen wipers or something for people's presents? But yes, I'm with you. I feel pretty good as well. I feel like I had holiday to use up as well. So I've got like a couple of days dotted around in the next couple of weeks, which is always lovely to feel like, oh, we're in the run up to a nice rest. I think Christmas is also the only time of year where it is actually like off. Because you know, when you have a holiday at another time of year, the world keeps going. And I think Christmas is one of the probably the only time where everybody does just go, I'm out of office. You're not going to come back to 101 emails. Which is quite nice.
100% true. Maybe slightly Easter, but people have less time off because obviously it's only sort of 2 days, so you don't really get that rest feeling. Whereas this, typically, most people shut before Christmas, and then you've got until New Year at kind of the minimum. Anyway, without further ado, should we go into the Insight Scoop?
Good hosting. Yes, please. Let's go.
So I know we do the news, or the Insight Scoop as it's called here. This one's kind of a bit of a left field one, and I know you're really excited to talk about this. So Reddit, the American online discussion platform, has overtaken X, or Twitter as we all know it still because X is a stupid name. My opinion, nothing to do with that next gen, to become the 5th most popular social media platform in the UK, according to the communications watchdog.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on here?
I just think it's really interesting because obviously it's reflective of a wider landscape that's kind of happening in the world. And I think Twitter was so pervasive and for a time was, you know, that's where a lot of people were going for information, that's where culturally things were shifting. It was so zeitgeisty. And now, you know, you've got all of these new platforms that are coming out. What's it? Blue Sky, that's a new one that's coming. You've got Threads, that's Instagram's kind of spin-off of Twitter. And I don't think it's any mystery as to when this kind of exodus started happening. Exodus. I should have made that pun.
That was so good. I was waiting for that one.
If I thought of it a little bit sooner, then I could have really seemed like I was super clever. But yeah, this exodus, I'm going to write about. That's a really good thing to say, isn't it? Yeah. So obviously,
it's been a mass exodus, hasn't it? Like that's been the case, really.
Yeah. So I just think it's interesting, and Reddit is its own thing, which is very different to X, very different to Threads, very different to these other things. And there you have these forums, you have subreddits, you have it's more of a kind of discussion place in a different way. So I just think it's really interesting that is maintaining its popularity. And X is just, I think its days are numbered personally, unless it kind of shifts into something different and kind of tailors itself to a specific community. But yeah, I think just reflective of a wider landscape and interesting to be aware of, and for people to kind of go, oh, well, there you go. That's something that's happening. I'll move on into the next story. Is for you. It's about crypto, which is always a interesting kind of topic to bring up now and again. And the story this week is that 7 million adults in Britain now own crypto assets, up from 5 million just 2 years ago, which is a pretty big increase. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm actually quite surprised by the amount. I didn't realize it was that high until you sent me the news story for today's show. So 7 million, which is a 10% of the whole population of the
Mm.
UK own cryptocurrency. And obviously, if you exclude children and people who are probably over 80, not to be generationalist, but probably just simply the conventional norms here, probably a large number of people over 80 and under sort of 16 won't hold crypto assets. So it's just amazing to think that number's so high. And
Mm.
bizarrely, actually, before we agreed who was going to talk about this, I had a phone call this morning with a client who was a conventional client, ISA and a small OIC portfolio. And he was saying, Tom, should I have some money invested in crypto? And it's just, obviously, as a regulated advisor, we can't give advice to recommend crypto or anything like that. But I think there are a lot of headlines about it, good, bad, and indifferent. I think until it becomes a regulated thing, obviously we're going to struggle as an industry to really talk about it in a meaningful way to clients. I do hope that in some way, shape, or form it does become regulated, or at least some become regulated, because I think there is a place for it. It's clearly not disappearing overnight anymore. I think that was the sort of perception maybe 4 or 5 years ago, is it is going to disappear overnight. Some regulators, super volatile, will disappear. I just think obviously the volatility thing is still here, but it's not going to disappear overnight. I think a lot of people think it's a bit of a get rich quick scheme, though, if I'm honest. So I do think people are putting money in that they can't afford to lose. And that's my fear for that, is that people that are investing into it, you can genuinely lose all of your money. So please act with caution in things like this. That's just my bit. Shall we move on to
No,
the final one? Do you want anything to say on that?
sure, but I feel like we are running out of time. Yeah, let's just move on to the next one. I want to give Keith lots of time because
Yeah,
he's always got very good things to say, better things than I
fine.
have to say.
Likewise.
Yes.
Right, let's jump on. ITV's share price has jumped after a report that several investors are considering making bids for the British broadcaster. It's I'm a Celeb Times, of course. Come on, tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I do love a bit of I'm a Celeb. It actually surprised me that they were up for sale. I know that a lot of these kind of what do you call them? Terrestrial, that's the word I was looking for. TV channels are struggling, and the way that things are going at the moment is not great for them. So it's clearly they're
Did you
looking
did you say did you say
what?
terrestrial or terrestrial?
Terrestrial, that's where it's like on TV. Like
Is it?
BBC.
I thought it was terrestrial, because terrestrial is like extra terrestrial, which means like ET. No? Have I
Someone
been like
comment, someone comment in the thing
I,
because I'm pretty sure it's terrestrial TV.
I thought it was terrestrial, so I might have just learned something live on air, and you can see the pure innocence occurring. I
Well,
need to carry on.
one of us is right and one of us is wrong. Or we both might be wrong.
Well, we'll ask Keith.
No, yeah, ask Keith. He'll know. Someone else comment. They'll be able to tell us what's going on. But yeah, I mean, clearly good news that the share price is going up. People feel confident that it's going to move in a good direction. You've got different people interested. I wonder with someone else taking over whether that would change what they're doing and in what forms they are creating content. I mean, there was a really good thing in the Rest is Entertainment podcast this week, all about the different TV shows that are surviving in terrestrial/telestial land. And that's quiz shows, seemingly is where they make. So ITV The Chase is like their big hitter, but a lot of other things are struggling. So interesting. I guess that's a watch that space kind of story, and whether that's indicative of what's going to happen to other terrestrial, who knows what they're called.
I think you're right.
Channel.
Hearing you say them both next to each other, I'm going to say I think I'm now wrong. So I'm so sorry that this took over. Shall we just say, though, there is some really exciting things going on in the Next Gen Planners community. So for those who don't know, next week we've got our Christmas drinks. I think they're on Thursday, but you put Wednesday.
They're
So
on Wednesday, but that's pretty close. You can come Thursday. There'll probably be some hangers-on who've lasted through the night, and there might still be there Thursday.
I've just looked at my diary and I thought it was on Thursday, so I've put it in on the wrong day. So this is why it's really good to stay tuned to this. And we've got the Good Stock Rewind. So if you want to log on to the community, go back, look at the amazing festival and what was going on there. There's some amazing content.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tom. I think I'm going to hand things back over to you now, and you're going to have a chat with our brilliant guest today, Keith Boys.
Good morning, Keith. Right. Firstly, before we even get into it, I need to know, is it celestial or terrestrial?
It's terrestrial. But you do you, Tom. You do you.
Well, I'm going to own that one going forward. And delighted to see you. Would you like to just do a quick introduction for those who don't know who you are? I mean, most people do, but please tell us who you are.
Yes, my name's Keith Boys. I'm the Managing Director here at Spentwell. I've got 2 kids, so I don't sleep that much. I'm married and I live here in Scotland, and I've been running my firm for about 5 years now.
Amazing. And one of the things that you do very, very well is that you do small touches extremely well. And could you just tell our listeners kind of how that enhanced the client relationships that you have? And can you kind of give us some example of the impact that that really has in your business?
Yeah, I think small touches are hugely important when it comes to what we deliver with our clients. If you think of, us as advisors, there's a foundational level that we are expected to have, which is, we're expected to be technically competent. We're expected to do the right thing by our clients, and always put our clients first. That's, quite sort of foundational level stuff. A bit like the Premier Inn experience. You expect to go and have a decent bed, get a decent sleep, but you go away, it's fine. Whereas if you want, if you take that up a notch, and if you really want to create these sort of lasting sort of small touches, you want the Ritz experience. And when you get the Ritz experience, you get that foundational level, but you just get that bit more, and it comes from these small touches. If you use that analogy of the hotel, they remember the drink you had last night in the bar. They remember that you're gluten-free. They've got it noted down. And they just deliver that notch above when it comes to client experience. So when it comes to financial advice, what that means for us here, it's remembering those sort of softer elements that are important to our clients. So in that first meeting, when they mention, their favorite bottle of wine is a Spanish Rioja, well, guess what they're going to get as a gift after that first meeting? It's going to be a nice Spanish Rioja because we've taken it in. And that's what then creates this memorable experience that moves you from being a decent firm to being a really good firm, because you're really absorbing what's important to the client. And we've done that. We do that with clients all the time. So we give out birthday gifts every year to our clients, but we also, we acknowledge significant moments. So one of our clients' parents died last year, and one of the things that came up in one of our chats around this, sort of prior when it was all happening, was how she was such an optimistic person, and then she eventually passed. So we sent out a lemon tree, and that was a nod to the mother's optimism. And we got a lovely note back from them to say, thank you very much. We really appreciated that. That was really thoughtful. We don't expect that, but it's just, I think when you start to do those sort of softer elements and you sort of take note of these significant moments in life, new baby coming in, birthdays, deaths in the family, all things we all experience in life, I think that's when you just start to take it up a notch, when it comes to what we deliver. And it moves beyond being about the technical stuff. It becomes about something much more broader and important for clients.
Amazing. And just obviously listening to the things that you do, that kind of the next level, I guess, from, and kind of taking you to the Ritz level service as you kind of talk about, I think it's just amazing. The clients, you must get such warm handshakes and genuine moments and memories with those people. Kind of moving slightly forward, as the year's winding down now, what practical steps do you think that advisors can take to strengthen client relationships at this time of year? What are you doing? What do you think advisors should be doing?
Yeah, this is an absolutely mental time of year. Let's be honest. Everyone's trying to squeeze in as much work as they can before they go off on holiday. There's Christmas parties. We're out for drinks. The kids are hyper excited. Our Sky keeps asking us if it's Christmas Day. I mean, there's still got 20 plus days to go every day. So I think, for us as advisors, I think it's important to acknowledge that we're down the list of importance. and it's important for us to ramp up our comms with clients where we need to. So just a recent example this week, I've had to chase someone 3-4 times this week to put in their pension contribution before the company year end. Arguably, I would probably be a bit irritated about that, but I'm not, because I'm just acknowledging of where I am in the chain, that, do you know what, I just need to ramp it up around this time of year, because I know this is such a stressful period for people. So I think, practical steps, I think it's hugely important for us to be understanding of the stresses that everyone's on, that happen around this year. Be prepared to communicate more. Don't grudge it, just embrace it. And importantly, then sort of allow clients a bit of breathing space to just go and do their thing, and think less about putting money in their pension and actually think about going and enjoying their money and enjoying time with their friends and family.
Totally agree, and it's interesting, isn't it? Often that we do get frustrated when people don't do. We've spent ages preparing something for a client, and then it was urgent, important when they were sat with you or having the discussion. Then they go away, and it kind of isn't urgent, important that moment. And like you say, 15 other things in life gets in the way. So yeah, but it's kind of actually moving slightly away from the client and looking at the advisor for a minute. How important is it for advisors to take a proper break? Because often we don't. So tell us, like, what do you do and what do you recommend?
Yeah, I think this is massive, and I think it's something we fail on a lot in our industry. We think, we need to be constantly productive, constantly working, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I honestly think the less we work, the better advisors we become. Because, you think of a client, if you're my client, if you come in and you've had a frantic day, the kids have been a nightmare, you've not had a break, and then you're coming in the meeting, you're coming in with so much baggage behind you that you're never going to be able to focus on the meeting. So if it's like that for the clients, it's the exact same for us. So I think we need to give ourselves time and space, to think, to breathe. So we're a 4-day working week here at Spentwell. Friday's my day off with the kids, which I love. The joys of running your business means you can do that. But equally, that also gives me time away from being in the grind of the business. And I think that's hugely important. And even if it's just going out for a walk, out for a run, my best ideas happen in downtime. There'll just be moments of inspiration, and I'm not deliberately thinking about it. It just happens because you're giving your mind that time to sort of level out a bit. So I hugely encourage it. And likewise over the Christmas period, no one's interested in speaking to me over Christmas. So I'd encourage every advisor to take as much time off as they can over the festive period, because you'll be a better advisor for it. And likewise throughout the year. And clients will see that. They'll see a much more relaxed, happy and focused advisor.
Amazing. And talking about your business, and obviously, having been in it, I think 5 years, you said at the start. So what's one of the key areas that you've been focused on improving your business this year, and what's the outcome been?
So I could have given you quite a few here, but I've focused on one. So one of the most transformational things we've done, in fact, in the last 5 years, is we've pivoted the business towards doing masterclasses. So this is where we've been getting 12 people in a room. So it's been 12 seats, 12 breakfasts, and 12 principles. And those have been focused on, be that foundational elements, investment planning, retirement planning, and so on. And we've done 5 of those this year. And we do it in a nice surrounding. We do it in a nice hotel space in their boardroom. We put on complimentary food, and then we just share a dose of wisdom over about 45 minutes with the aim that we're doing right, doing good by people. So regardless of what happens, they are going to come out better informed around their financial circumstance. They're also going to have a happy belly, and I'm a big fan of that. Happy belly, good coffee, a good breakfast, why not? Also a good way to get people in. Start with the food. But beyond that, it also plants a seed. So where they feel inclined, it then plants a seed to want to engage with me. And that's been transformational for the business, and it's really aligned people that ultimately need support to engage with us. So those that need the education have got it, but those that acknowledge they're too busy to do it themselves have come into Spentwell, and that's really sort of pushed the business forward this year. And I think the exciting thing is we've found so many people that really need financial advice, but just haven't been asked, and they just haven't had the time to sort of explore it. So that's been brilliant for the business.
Amazing. And I think I'd love to go on asking you about these masterclasses, because I think that's super unique. And I know that Adam's been talking about it on the podcast specifically, but unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. So I'm going to bring the delightful Amelia back on with us and just say sort of thank you, Keith. It was a pleasure to have you, even if it was only for 10 minutes. I'd like to have you for longer next time, if that's all right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Amelia, come and join us.
I was there. He's good, isn't he? Keith he's very good. He's very, very good. These are good stuff. I think that's so much useful insight that you gave us there, Keith. So thank you so much for taking the time on your day off. What a treat that you we got some of your precious time with away from Daisy and Sky. So I hope that they don't begrudge us that too much. But yes, that is all we've got time for. We will be back in 2 weeks with the last episode before our Christmas break. We'll be taking all the time off. You'll probably see us in July next year. That will be what we'll be doing. But yes, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Keith, again for joining. Thank you, Tom, for your excellent hosting and good question asking as well. And am I going to thank myself? Yeah, thanks to myself.
Thank you.
And thanks, guys. Oh, you can all come back again. Yes, let's wrap this up. We'll see you all next time. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
See you.